he thought I was cute because I was shy and quiet. And at the time, I was flattered and I was like, wow, he finds me cute. Now, looking back, I realize he liked that I was shy and quiet because he knew that I would be easy to manipulate because I lacked that self-confidence. Hi guys, welcome to the video. Today I'm going to be talking about how some people benefit from keeping you in a diminished version of yourself, how you can recognize these people, and what you can do about it. I feel like a lot of us are really familiar with the kind of person who's very friendly, very supportive, very loving and generous, and on the surface, everything that a good partner or family member or friend should be. But then every time you start to do better for yourself, you notice they knock you down and you come out feeling less confident and with less belief in yourself. These kinds of people benefit from keeping you insecure, from keeping you in a lack of confidence, in a lack of self-belief, and in a mindset that you are incapable. These people benefit from this because it keeps you dependent on them. These people are so insecure that they need to be needed by you in order to feel safe. And in order for you to need them, they need to diminish you to the point where you believe that you do. They're not happy to just have a healthy, free dynamic between the two of you because they don't believe that they're good enough to keep you as a friend or as a person in their life if you aren't dependent on them. This is why they are the most positive person in the world to you when you are weak and when you need them. And this is why the minute that they see that you're bettering yourself or doing better for yourself, they flip up on you and they bring you back down. This is most often seen when you tell somebody like this about maybe a new opportunity, a new project, a new person in your life that you're hopeful and happy and confident about, and you see it growing your life and you as a person, and suddenly they come back with all this negative feedback that is ungrounded in the reality of the situation. These people might come off as trying to keep you safe, and a lot of these people think they are keeping you safe actually because they don't have very good beliefs about the world. So they might say, oh, I'm concerned about this, I'm concerned about that, but it's not in a positive, constructive way. It's in a way that they want to limit you from growing as a person. They'll nitpick somebody before you've even met them, or they will just bring up all of the risks and the dangers about something disproportionately, or all of these things that they will just fill you with this lack of confidence, and they will break down any confidence you have so that you don't go into this with a confident mindset that will see you succeed, or so you just don't go into it at all anymore. I don't understand that these people feel threatened. They're not coming from a genuine place. They're coming from a place of feeling like their status of control over you is weakening and that they have to regain it. And they will do that by any means. They will do that by making sure that you don't go for that new job offer, or that you don't build that new friendship with that person, or that you don't start believing in yourself. Growing up, I had some very insecure people around me with very diminished belief in themselves and belief about what was available to them in the world. So I grew up constantly hearing limited beliefs, beliefs of lack, beliefs of, oh no, you can't do that and you won't be able to do that. And I think a lot of people grow up with this. It's basically the message of don't shoot too high, settle to what we got. You're only going to get what we received in our life. And I remember growing up, I would bring stuff up like, oh, I want to do this as a career, and I would basically be told, oh, it's not going to work out. You can't do that. It's too hard, or it's going to fail. Or I would say, I want to do this thing, and it's like, oh, well, when I did that, it was terrible, and all of these terrible things happened. And it's like, okay, I understand you're trying to protect me, but it left me in a place where I remained dependent on them, and I was set for the path that they had in life, and that probably made them feel really comfortable because they knew where I'd be. They knew that I would be somewhere where they wanted me. Watch out for the kind of people who say things to you like, oh, I like you because you're shy. I like you because you're quiet, because you're not full of yourself. Like all of these things, I used to be flattered by it. I remember this guy who I ended up dating who was not healthy, he was not good for me. When I first met him, one of the first things he said to me was that he thought I was cute because I was shy and quiet. And at the time, I was flattered and I was like, wow, he finds me cute. Now, looking back, I realize he liked that I was shy and quiet because he knew that I would be easy to manipulate because I lacked that self-confidence. You do lack self-confidence, you become a target for these people because it's written all over you that you can be controlled and you can be made to be dependent on them. This guy, and not even him, a lot of people in my life who have been this way, are the most supportive, caring, safe people in the world until they realize that you're doing better than them or you've found something that's better than them, and then suddenly they will be critiquing you like there is no tomorrow. Also, sometimes this is subtle, right? Like sometimes it's outright, sometimes it's outright criticism or, you know, throwing a lot of fear onto what you want to do. But sometimes it's subtle, and this is called negging, and it's where somebody will just make tiny little comments or jokes, they can dress them up as jokes that diminish your self-confidence and make you feel less capable. I also had this with the guy I was talking about earlier. It was always all this, like, you know, compliments and warmth until I actually believed in myself, until I was actually confident, until I did something that threatened him, and then it was funny, and then it was like, oh, you know, it's so funny how weak and incapable I am. And you'll find that it's often humor is used as a tool to diminish your self-worth and your self-confidence, and don't take this, it's not a joke, it's not funny, it's just belittling dressed up as something that this person thinks they're going to get away with. People who have your best interest at heart are always going to support you. They will even support you taking risks because they're like, hey, you know, if it's a calculated risk with benefit, they will support you because they know that it's your life and they want you to succeed, they want you to grow. So anyone who's healthy in your life will always say to you, yes, go for it, I believe in you. And if there are concerns, they might say, hey, I'm a little bit worried about this thing, can we talk about that? But they will never phrase it in a way that is just designed to completely bring you down, to batter your confidence and make you feel incapable. You've got to have compassion for these people because I think a lot of the time they genuinely believe that they're keeping you safe because their view of the world is of a very unsafe world. So they, based on this understanding of the world, are probably trying to keep you safe. But what they're actually doing is they're actually holding you back. They're actually keeping you stuck in a diminished version of yourself. And you'll notice that sometimes when you grow as a person, you start to feel more and more distant from people that you were once close to. And this can be really hard. I remember I had a best friend and all the love in the world to her. I mean, I'm so grateful that she was in my life and I will never forget that. But when I started to work on myself and grow as a person and I started to let go of some negatives that had been in my life that we had both related over, our friendship began to distance because there was just this divide between us now where we were headed in life. And it's not about being better or worse than the other person where you are in life, but it's about your mindset. And when one person has a growth mindset and another person is fixed and stuck in their ways, it creates a friction that is very hard, if ever, to coexist between. And I noticed that this friend, when I started to branch out and grow as a person, would try to diminish the new things, the new positives that I was bringing into my life, and would make me feel guilty for not having her as the priority anymore, to an extent that was inappropriate for a friendship. And this is just one example, but there will be a lot of people like this around you, especially if you have had a history of being insecure, because these people feed off that, they're drawn to it, and they know that you're this way. Some people just really need to put out your light because theirs is out and they can't handle yours shining on theirs, and it's really sad. But if you're finding that you're only accepted by somebody in your worst state, that is not your person. That is not your person. The people for you love you in any state, but they support you to be at your best unconditionally. Unconditionally. If somebody makes you feel like you are sacrificing them to be your best self, that's not your person, and you're probably not their person either. I feel like tall poppy syndrome is something that plays into this too, and you find this, I think, especially in Gen Z. I have noticed growing up in it, there is a lot of anti-intellectualism, like to the point where people who are smart are actually put in a place where they feel like they have to hide it, or they have to dumb themselves down just to avoid judgment or just to fit in. And I find this really, really sad, because it probably discourages a lot of people from intellectual ability that they have. And tall poppy syndrome and anti-intellectualism are just examples of what I'm talking about here. When people know that you're naturally capable, they're threatened, and so they try to bring down your self-belief so that you'll stay on their level, and they'll maintain access and control over you. The main message in this video is that if somebody is consistently making you feel incapable and insecure and dependent, ask yourself, why do they need me to be this way? Why do they want to keep me in this state? And then you'll realize it's not about you, it's about them. Then look for the people in your life who always support you to grow and to try new things and to branch out and to expand as a person. And then recognize that these are your people. The people who keep you stuck in an insecure and diminished version of yourself, they probably love you. You can love them too. They probably don't even have bad intentions, but they're stuck, and as a result, they're acting out of fear that they're going to lose you. Thank you for watching, and have an amazing day. Bye.